Picture this. A brilliant scientist in the year 2847 stands before a temporal gateway, about to make humanity's first journey into the past. She needs a code name for the mission files. Her eyes drift to a book on her desk, Bullfinch's Mythology. She smiles and types Operation Zeus. She has no idea she's about to become the very myth she borrowed her name from. This is the story of the gods who created themselves, a temporal paradox so elegant, so perfectly circular, that it rewrites everything we think we know about mythology. Let's start with something that's always bothered historians. Why are the gods so human? They make mistakes. They fall in love. They get jealous, petty, even stupid sometimes. Zeus couldn't keep it in his pants. Thor got tricked into a drinking contest with the ocean. These aren't the behaviours of omniscient cosmic beings. They're the actions of very advanced people who are probably in way over their heads. Now imagine, it's the late 29th century. Humanity has cracked temporal mechanics. The first expedition is planned to ancient Earth, specifically to observe the Bronze Age collapse around 1200 BCE. The team consists of archaeologists, linguists, anthropologists, all equipped with technology that would look like pure magic to ancient peoples. The mission parameters are strict. Observe only. Do not interfere. But here's the thing about time travel that every science fiction writer understands. Something always goes wrong. The temporal anchor fails. The team, let's call them the Olympians, can't return home. They're stranded in the ancient Mediterranean with technology beyond comprehension and a terrible choice to make. Do they hide? Pretend to be ordinary people and live out their lives in obscurity? Or do they use their knowledge to help these ancient peoples, knowing full well that any interference could cascade through history in unpredictable ways? Commander Zeus chooses the middle path. The team will embed themselves as advisors, as mysterious benefactors. They'll share just enough knowledge to ease suffering without drastically altering the timeline. They'll be helpful strangers who arrive, assist, and eventually disappear. But the ancient people don't see helpful strangers. They see beings who command lightning, portable defense weapons, beings who can heal the sick, advanced medicine, beings who fly through the sky, personal aircraft, beings who never seem to age, longevity treatments. They see gods. And here's where it gets beautiful. Commander Zeus, remember, was codenamed Zeus on the original mission manifest. The team's chief engineer? Her call sign was Athena. The medical officer went by Apollo. The security chief? Ares. The future team had named themselves after gods who didn't exist yet. Or did they? Now the paradox becomes perfect. The stories spread. Commander Zeus tries to stop them. But how do you fight mythology in an oral culture? Each retelling exaggerates. The portable lightning weapon becomes the ability to throw thunderbolts from his hands. His leadership of the team becomes kingship over all gods. His affairs with local women, ill-advised relationships that the team's ethics officer warned against, become divine seductions. The myths grow in the telling, passed down through generations, written in epic poems carved in temple stones. Fast forward 3,000 years, our timeline. A young girl in 2847 is studying ancient history. She's fascinated by Greek mythology, by the Norse sagas. When she grows up and joins the Temporal Research Institute, she requests call signs based on her favourite myths. She doesn't know she's not choosing a name, she's remembering one. Because here's the thing about a perfect time loop, there's no beginning. The future scientists name themselves after the ancient gods. The ancient gods were the future scientists. The myths created the travellers, and the travellers created the myths. It's a causality loop, a snake eating its own tail. The Ouroboros, which, incidentally, was another symbol those ancient peoples associated with the divine. You might ask, is there any evidence for this? Well, consider the anomalies, the things that don't quite fit. The Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek device so sophisticated that nothing like it appears again for over 1,000 years. Was it built using principles taught by someone who shouldn't have been there? The precision of Göbekli Tepe's construction, predating agriculture. The impossible acoustics of ancient temples. The astronomical knowledge encoded in structures that primitive society supposedly couldn't have possessed. Or look at the myths themselves. They're filled with specific details that seem oddly technical. Thor's hammer always returns to his hand, like a programmed drone. Odin sacrifices his eye for knowledge, like someone interfacing with a neural database that requires biometric authentication. The Greek gods can't directly interfere with fate. Sounds like Temporal Prime Directive, doesn't it? Rules against creating paradoxes, and every mythology has the same arc. The gods walk among humans for a time, they shape the world, they have complex relationships with mortals, and then they withdraw, they fade. The age of miracles ends, exactly like a stranded team that eventually dies out, their technology failing, their influence waning, until only stories remain. So what if it's true? What if the gods were real, not as supernatural beings, but as time-displaced humans who became trapped in their own past? What if every myth is a distorted memory of something that actually happened? It doesn't make the stories less meaningful. If anything, it makes them more human. These weren't perfect beings playing with mortals like chess pieces. They were people, lost in time, trying their best with impossible circumstances, making mistakes, falling in love, arguing with each other, eventually becoming the very legends they'd studied in school. There's something deeply moving about that. The idea that divinity was never about being perfect. It was about being present, about trying to help, about the very human impulse to reach across time and make things better. And maybe, somewhere in our future, someone is reading this script. Someone preparing for humanity's first temporal expedition. Someone choosing a call sign from ancient myths. Someone about to close the loop. Again?